Good day, and welcome to Leadership Discourse, a program dedicated to exploring critical issues shaping Nigeria's future. I am your host, Wisdom Miracle Haruna. Today, we will be discussing a crucial topic, the role of tertiary institutions in providing good set of leaders for our nation. Joining us today in the studio are our distinguished guests. Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, a professor in linguistics and an activist. Mr. Aliu Mohammed, a successful student from Kaduna State University. And Mr. Gideon Kure, a successful graduate from Kaduna State University and a successful entrepreneur. Alhaji Ibrahim, in your experience, what are the key qualities of good leadership that tertiary institutions should focus on nurturing?
Thank you so much, presenter. And thank you equally for inviting me to discuss this very crucial issue. The issue of providing necessary skills, knowledge, and values for our students in tertiary institutions. And for me, I want to believe it's not only limited to the issue of tertiary institutions, even though we may see them as the incubators, but importantly, we have preparatory stages which, if not given necessary consideration or if ignored, that means the students that are produced in the tertiary institutions may not get the necessary skills, knowledge, and value we are talking about. That is, we cannot ignore the primary and secondary stages. But importantly, since we are discussing at this level of tertiary institutions, I sincerely want to believe that there are some key issues which are missing, because our past leaders went to higher institutions and we can attest to the type of quality of leadership they gave us, both in governance and as well as in our communities. Now, something definitely must be missing, and we have to look at what is missing for us to be able to ascertain how can we now be able to provide these necessary skills again that will be very effective for future leaders. And as I want to believe the relationship between students and lecturers play a key role, because higher institutions is not all about academics alone. It is as well about discipline. Without discipline, whatever you acquire in terms of knowledge may not be necessarily relevant, because you yourself may not provide the necessary expected qualities required of you. So by mentioning student-lecturers relationship, it is very, very important in the areas of inculcating love for the country. It is part of the responsibility of the lecturers. Inculcating honesty in the minds of the students, transparency, dedication, and so on and so forth. And these are factors very necessary. Without these factors, you wouldn't have a very sound skill, knowledge, and value that are relevant in terms of leadership. Therefore, I look at this issue of student lecturers because of many cases so far being experienced in our higher institutions, which they themselves, the lecturers, play a key role in them. Within the academia, within the academic cycles, we have issues of exam malpractices. And definitely, without expatiating on this, everybody knows that exam malpractices is an act of corruption. And that is one key issue we'll be crying about in Nigeria today, corruption. So if you, as a lecturer, will guide your student through a shortcut that will not be for the betterment of the society, and then how will he be a better leader for the society? The student will grow up to become a corrupt person. So also the issue of plagiarism, which is in the same line, you see students just copying other people's work, and then they score marks and go. Why? How? Why do we allow things like that? How can't we be checking this effectively? So if you keep corrupting the minds of the students at the higher institution, at the tertiary institutions, it's as good as you are corrupting their minds as future leaders of the country. That is why I look at the issue of student-lecturer relationship, by extension, administrative management of the higher institutions, as one big minus, which we need to do as much to ensure corrective measures for us to be able to produce quality leaders from higher or from our tertiary institutions.
Thank you so much for that insight. Mr. Kure, from your experience working with young leaders, what are the gaps you see in the leadership training provided by tertiary institution?
Thank you, Presenter, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, one of the major issues we have from my experience, it's a lack of communication. And then we also have issues as regards to the agendas, because presently like 51% of the leaders right now, they are actually working based on their own agendas, not for the sole purpose of achieving the goal of an organization. So like in an institution, the relationship between the teachers, that's the lecturer, and the students is actually far. There's a much gap there, because most of these leaders who proclaim leaders actually corrupt in their own means, and then most of the lecturer leaders in their position actually based on a political appointment. So they don't actually have the qualities of good leadership. They don't have the skill set of a good leadership. So for an example, a situation whereby a students commit malpractice, and then like the fellow students are actually aware of particular students who are involved, but on the Senate hearing, after the final decision, you tend to understand that some people are actually missing, they were omitted. So and then situation like this, you know that it's actually a corrupt leaders, and then for that reason, even the people you're bringing up, like the incubators, try to get a startup, you've actually built a mindset for them. It's actually a motherland, but we are not working towards that. It's more like we are in Nigeria, but Nigeria is not our own country. So it's more like you're a foreigner, and then because of no lack of love for the country, and then people tend to do what they have in mind. So I think it's actually a major gap. And then, like I've said, communication one, there's no dissemination, there's no cohesion. You tend to understand that, okay, this particular person has his own agenda, and then the other person has his own agenda. So it's actually a major gap we're having as young leaders. And then due to the current situation in the world, everybody just wants to have that proclaimed glory. You don't want to work as a team, a unity, and then it's actually one of the major issues we have as a young graduate. And then as an entrepreneur, that's actually one of the experience I had.
Thank you so much for that insight. Mr. Eliu, as a young leader yourself, what are some of the challenges you face, and how do you think tertiary institutions could have better prepared you?
Well, as you know, what both have courses like entrepreneurship, but I don't think institutions usually focus on theoretical parts, so without any experiments. And I'd say for them to do better, which will create capacity building pay on entrepreneurship and many other schools, because you see most students will finish school, but at the end they'll have no skill. They have them.
Thank you so much for that insight. We'll be going on a commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Hello everyone. In line with His Excellency Senator Obasani's initiative to support MSMEs through Kadida, the Kaduna State Government is pleased to announce the upcoming launch of the SME portal. From startups to established enterprises, The SME portal offers a comprehensive suite of services to help your business thrive. Register your business with ease and obtain a Kadida business certificate through the portal. Verify the legitimacy of other businesses. Apply for grants and connect with service providers using our business yellow pages. Stay up to date with the latest news and important announcements, all in one platform. Need financial support? Apply for grants and loans directly through the portal. And if you have questions, our AI Business Development Assistant is always available to assist you. Get ready to experience the future of SME development in Kaduna State.
Wow, the SME portal will make your business operation more efficient, and it will connect business owners with valuable resources. It's truly transformative.
Stay tuned for the SME portal launch and be among the first to benefit from this digital enterprise platform.
Assalamu alaikum, good day everyone. My name is Aisha Dauda Abba. Welcome to Aisha's Beaded Elegance. Our passion lies on crafting beautiful beaded accessories that reflect your unique style. From necklaces that make a statement to bracelets and earrings that whisper elegance, each piece is a proof of our dedication to artistry and quality. We invite you all to explore the world of creativity and self-expression, where every bead tells a story. For any inquiries, contact us using the following phone number: 08068977673 or 08055566319. Thank you for joining us on this journey of beauty and elegance.
Welcome to Kaduna, where diverse culture meets commerce. Governor Obasani envisions Kaduna as the undisputed hub for trade, investments, and ease of doing business in Nigeria. Supporting this transformative vision is the Kaduna State Enterprise Development Agency, Kadida. Focusing on nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises, Kadida is dedicated to providing comprehensive business development services, transforming the state to a beacon of economic potential. In keeping with His Excellency's drive to foster economic competitiveness in the state, Kadida facilitates access to finance, market information, and general knowledge that empowers local businesses. As we work towards realizing the governor's vision of an economically prosperous state, we invite every business in Kaduna to join us in shaping a brighter future, where Kaduna stands tall as the dominant hub for trade and investment in Nigeria. Kadida, helping MSMEs thrive.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Leadership Discourse, a program dedicated to exploring critical issues and shaping Nigerians' future. To help us dive deeper or look into this topic more better, Mr. Kure. As a young entrepreneur and a recent graduate of Kaduna State University, what's your thoughts on the future of young entrepreneurs taking part in leadership training and in Nigerian universities?
Okay. Presenter, thank you for this wonderful question. So I think there are benefits attached to these questions. Number one, interpersonal skills. You actually learn to groom yourself. That's your mindset. You learn to grow within. There's growth within, and then there's growth outside. So with this, you're going to learn how to be self-employed as well, even without having to be a worker with the government. You can actually learn skills. And then on the innovation aspect, I know there are a lot of youths who have that idea. They have these innovative ideas in them, but they don't know how to bring it to reality. So, but with this sole purpose of training within expertise in various skill set, I believe it's actually help all the young entrepreneurs who are coming, who has that mindset, just like the SWOT analysis in entrepreneur. At least you get to understand your strengths, your weakness, your opportunity, and then threats within your market environment, and then in country as a whole. So it's actually going to help build with the younger entrepreneurs coming to actually build this nation and then make it a better home.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Back to my fellow guests. How can leadership development programs be integrated in the curriculum of tertiary institutions?
This is an important question, and I think it has an answer, because if you are thinking of curriculum in the Nigerian universities with regards to leadership, we have courses which are very much relevant with the leadership. Those courses, as far as leadership is concerned, they are deeply involved in the management of the affairs of leadership at any level. When you have things like public admin, you understand it is relevant to that. Even political science, it is relevant to that. Accounting, there are so many courses, because when you talk about accounting, you are talking about financial management and so on and so forth, accountability and so on and so forth. So, talking about other programs to be developed, already we have those programs as far as university curriculums are involved. The only thing is what we keep saying, given this knowledge with mindset of love for the country, with mindset of doing the job to serve the public. You understand? Not for personal aggrandizement or personal self-interest and so on and so forth. You understand? So, and this is what we are trying to say. Now, in as much as there is gap between the giver and the taker, those giving the knowledge and those receiving the knowledge, now continue to be a problem. Because the more you want to prove this is the right thing and you are doing the wrong thing, so what do you want the person to receive from you? I think, to be honest, those things are there. There is programs developed in the universities aimed at enhancing public administration.
Thank you so much for your response. Do you have any other thing to add to the contribution being made?
Yeah, I think just small key is just like what you've said, the mindset. We need to actually build our mindset first. That's within, before you can actually make changes to the community that you love, and then the nation that it's actually a motherland to everyone. So that's my contribution.
For me, I would say it all comes from the background. As a students, we all come from different backgrounds, different homes. So I think tertiary institutions can find a way to maybe introduce design thinking, where each and every student can maybe focus on one thing together, and maybe we don't see any differences between us. I think that will work.
If I can add to just the point here, that that's why at the level of secondary school, I don't know of the tertiary institution, we have things like guidance and counseling. So you're talking of designing such things. If only they are well designed and effectively handled, we have that kind of, provision. That guidance and counseling certainly supposed to be working towards just what Malal, you have said. So I think it's a very good point he has made.
Thank you very much for the wonderful insight. Mr. Aliu, how can we ensure that leadership opportunities are accessible to students from diverse backgrounds?
I think the tertiary institutions can introduce curriculums or capacity building training to, I would say they should mostly focus on the new students coming in, because they are the ones that most need it, and maybe the ones going out, because you will see some students will finish the university and in the long run they will have nothing to show for it. No leadership skills, no communication skills, which is a very good point. But I think that...
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. Alhaji Ibrahim, in the current state of leadership in Nigeria faces numerous challenges from economic to political. How would you describe the current state of leadership in Nigeria?
It's an open ocean. As far as we are Nigerian, unless if we keep repeating ourselves. the most cankerous worm in Nigerian leadership, as it's been known to every person, is corruption. Corruption. In as much as there's no transparency and integrity. And in fact, today we even have corruption that is transparent, no longer hidden. That is the unfortunate thing. So this corruption has eaten deep into almost every sector of our life in Nigeria. It is there in the academic line, it is there in everything you do. So going by this question, because you specifically asked me on economy and political situation in Nigeria, not talking about the university itself or the students. So for me, as an individual, and speaking my mind, as far as I know, whatever we have today, if I give you an instance, I hope I'm not deviating. I was sharing just a piece of information yesterday, which I have known of it past years. General Gowon was Nigerian leader for 9 years. At the time they toppled him, he don't even have the money with which to leave Kampala, where he was attending a meeting on behalf of Nigeria, or EU meeting, to London, where he wanted to move to. Because he had to relinquish that presidential jet that took him to Kampala, since he wasn't the head of state again. 1. 2, he didn't have the money to pay for the hotel there, so before he even started moving from Kampala to London, he instructed his wife to leave the hotel where she was staying, which was by the Nigerian High Commission. You understand? And at a point, after a long story, because I don't want to bring that story here now, I'm trying to give an example of leadership and what corruption has done to us. You understand? So many things happened. Later on, the new head of state, Murtala, begged him that he should come back to Nigeria. He said, how can he come back to Nigeria? He doesn't own a plot, talk less of a house, in any part of Nigeria. He was Nigerian head of state for 9 years. Born and brought up in Zaria, Usasa. You understand? From Pangshin, Plateau State. Kaduna as his own state. He was in Lagos. He attended primary school, Barrier College, and so on and so forth. He went to NTA. He became, he became up to general, up to head of state for 9 years. He doesn't own a plot. And this happened with Murtala, happened with almost all of them. There was peace, even though there was coup against them. So what we are trying to say is, today as a councillor, because you ask questions about economy and politics, and they are interwoven. You understand, the politicians are the managers of our economy. So now, if you have a councillor that, you understand, almost everybody is queuing in his house, that your wife has delivered, you want to marry out your daughter, you want to do your CQ, so what are you expecting? Where will you get all this money and do this? So the issue is corruption. We have corrupted our minds. You understand? We are not prepared to face our challenges. We want to shift our challenges to others. We want to take shortcuts and so on and so forth. And all these shortcuts is what brings about all these miracle centers and so on and so forth. And that is what we are saying. Corruption is the center. Now, attitudinal change. We've been saying it for play, but that is the reality. That is the reality. I don't know if I've answered that question.
Thank you so much for that wonderful insight. And how can tertiary institutions help address this leadership gap? Mr. Kure, please, can you shed a little light on this question?
Okay, so I think a better way to do this is by, I think some of the institutions are already adopting some curriculums, just like the guidance and counseling classes, leadership skill class. So I think most public schools in Nigeria, public institutions, should adopt this as a course to train leaders. And also the tertiary institution should not allow a political interference whereby everyone is known, or a particular person who was given an opportunity or position doesn't possess a particular leadership skill. So I think these are the two major factors that is not actually supposed to interfere with the educational system of the nation.
Thank you so much. Any other?
Well, to add on what he said, I think that's a very good idea. And for the skill gap between students, they all coming up from different backgrounds, I think there is need to be maybe an aptitude test for each and every fresh students coming into the tertiary institutions. So that's how you can know who is skilled enough and those that are lagging behind, and that's how you can maybe arrange some classes or some capacity building training for the underdeveloped, so they can come up and maybe have a centralized class for both the skills and on the self.
If I add, because even by our theme, as we sit here discussing, we've been talking about skills, knowledge, and values for effective leadership. So it has come back to the same point. Now, it's for students to pursue excellence, because excellence places students in the right places. In most situations, we limit leadership to political leadership, but leadership is not all about political leadership. It goes down to almost all the sectors of life. You understand? And as far as we are concerned, if you don't have students, or if you do not produce students who have sound skills, sound knowledge, with high values, you understand, they may not fill in the gaps that we need. And if you put incompetent persons there, then you see the result. Because in most situations, as is the case in Nigeria, when you have people who are incompetent, they will try to shy away from their responsibility. Instead, they allow corruption to move. Once there's an issue, what they're interested in is, where is my share? You people go and do whatever you can do. Because they are not competent and they don't want to export themselves. So this question revolves back to sound skills, knowledge, and high values for our students. That is to say, our students should be encouraged to pursue excellence. If they pursue excellence, as it is happening today in Nigeria, you start seeing for you to get this position, you must get this two, all this grammar people are talking about. You understand? Mm-hmm. Simply because they want to pursue excellence. Unfortunately, I know we have corrupted the process, but notwithstanding, they still pursue that. So I think in addition to all they have said, this equally should be considered. Students should be encouraged, and this encouragement, I said it, guidance and counseling and so on and so forth. Because if you don't show this to the students, you understand, they wouldn't know. Not until when they get to the final bus stop and then they become stranded. So parents are involved in making their children to know the importance of education and why they must try to excel. And then teachers, lecturers equally will have to do that with their own students. I think that is my addition.
Thank you so much, my esteemed guest, for sharing your wonderful experiences and your wealth of knowledge to us and also our viewers out there. As we conclude, it's evident that tertiary institutions have a critical role to play in shaping the next generations of leaders for Nigeria by nurturing the necessary skills, knowledge, and values. We can empower young people to lead integrity, vision, and a commitment to building a brighter future for our nation. To this, I want to say thank you to our distinguished guests and our engaged audience for joining us on this important discussion. Until next time, when we will bring your way with another mind-blowing topic. Till then, stay engaged and keep leading the way. I'm your host, Wisdom Miracle Haruna, saying have a nice day. Thank you.